Hey, and we just got done wrapping up an episode coming out tomorrow. And we talk about values and virtues in that one. We talk about the most top 5 professions. It's a really good episode. I think you should check it out. But I wanted to kind of go over a funny story that made me think about something this week. The other night, my daughter had told me that she had heard something in the bathroom, like a little rattling noise. And something was in her room. And I was like, I don't know what that is. It's nothing. It's probably just your heater just kicking on. Don't worry about it. Or it's probably just your AC kicking on in your room. Don't worry about it. And then she came running out again and she was like, Dad, she was like, there's something in my room. It's making a rattling noise. I was like, there's no way it's making a rattling noise, but we'll check it out. So I go downstairs and I heard it. And it was coming from the bathroom. I was like, what in the world is making that noise? So then I was like, oh man. I went in the bathroom and I couldn't figure out where it was coming from. And I was like, man. And then, so in the bathroom, we have like this floor heater that you press a little button and it heats up the floor in front of you. So that way you don't step out onto the tile and it's all cold. And it has a little metal grate on it. And so I was like, well, maybe somebody left it on. So I hit the button and it wasn't on. And so I didn't hear any noise. I turned off the light. I walked out of the bathroom and I heard the noise again. So I walked in, flipped on the light, didn't hear anything. I was like, oh man, what is going on? So then I turned off the light and I stood there for a second. I was like, let me see if this ghost in this house is really making this thing. So then I waited and I heard the rattling noise coming from there. So I turned on my phone flashlight and I took a look and there was like this little field mouse in there. And I was like, oh, man, we got a little field mouse in here. So I was like, okay, let me figure out what's going on. So I was trying to figure out how I could get it out. So I took off the grate and the mouse kept running in the back of it where I couldn't get to it. And I was like, I'm not sticking my hand in there. You're not going to bite me and I'm not getting like mouse rabies or anything. So I sat in there for an hour and a half trying to get this mouse in this little shoebox. And, you know, at one point I had like the box and some paper towels and I'm like trying to scoop it up. So after an hour and a half, I finally get this mouse in this box and I take it outside and it's pitch black outside where I live. So like when it gets dark, it gets dark. You can't really see anything. We've got bobcats, foxes, coyotes. We have some black bear. My wife always tells me, she was like, what are you doing always walking out there in the dark? She was like, you should turn on some lights. I'm like, I don't want to pay for electricity to turn on lights. I'm just going to walk out there. It's no big deal. So I go out there and I'm like, well, I'm not going to let this mouse out in my yard because I don't want it to come back. I'm going to take it across the street to the field where it can run free and be fine. And as I'm walking there, I hear something rattling in the bushes to the left of me. And immediately, like, I go to, like, you know, I have this box in my hand and I'm like, okay, I'm going to hit whatever's there with this box if it comes at me. And I'm like, it's a cardboard box with a mouse in it. This is not going to do any damage to any wildlife if it comes after me, but it might scare it, right? And then so I see these little beady eyes in the little woods and I'm like, oh, man. I'm like, well, you know what? So I took the mouse and I, like, tossed it. And it was a fox. So this fox came out and ate the mouse. And I was like, oh. I spent an hour and a half to an hour and 40 minutes trying to save this mouse's life. And I just fed it to a fox. Which then made me think about something that was really, really important. You know, you might want to be careful about who you let help you in your life. Because you never know their intentions, right? So my intention was well and good being, like I was trying to help this poor little mouse get out of my house because I didn't want it there. And 2, I didn't want my daughter to be scared anymore. And 3, I don't want mice in my house. And I was going to go set it free. But then I got spooked by something else and I fed it unintentionally to this little fox. And so thought about it and I was like, I wonder how many times in our lives that we let people help us out. They have good intentions, but really put us in a worse situation than we started in. And it was just kind of like a thought, you know, that I had, and it wasn't anything negative. It was just a thought like, hey, I wonder if we really took a look at it. You might be a little bit more careful about who you let help you out in your life. So if you like this little tidbit, you'll like the longer podcast. Appreciate you. Thanks.